Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make this beautiful rainbow tumbler on a Starbucks. So before we get started, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. So let's get started. Okay, so first I start off by covering the logo with a piece of vinyl. I cut this out on my Cricut. It's a 2.171 by a 2. And I usually do a whole sheet, that way it's ready for the next cups that I do, so I don't have to individually cut one by one. So we're just gonna block the logo out like this. And this is optional. I just like to do it because it looks like it has a cleaner look to it. So just like that. Then I'm gonna move on to the next step, which is epoxy. Okay, so before we mix the epoxy, you want to make sure you have all your colors ready. I will be using acrylic paint, and this is by Deco Art. And you can use whatever colors you'd like, but for this tutorial I'm just going to do the rainbow colors. And my blue and my purple, I couldn't find my blue and purple acrylic paint, so I'm going to use mica powdered pigment. And then also I have some white glitter. This is called Snow White, and this is from Glitter by Loving the Sparkle. And I'm just going to mix it in my colors, that way it gives it a nice sparkle. So you're going to need a little cup for each of your colors. And I'm using coffee stirrer sticks, so you can use popsicle sticks, but I'm just going to break them in half because I'm only going to be using a little bit of epoxy for each. And it's 6 colors, so 2, 4, 6. There we go. I'll put these aside. I'm going to put my colors aside and start the epoxy mix. So for my epoxy mix, I'm going to do 20 ml of each A and B. Gonna pour that in my cup. And then 20 of A. I like to pour the B first, as you guys know in my previous videos, because the B is thinner, so I don't know, it's just easier for me to mix the thick inside the thinner. So it's 20 ml of that. Mix that in. And you're just gonna slowly mix until everything is blended nicely. You'll know when it's blended when it's a clear color, because right now it's foggy. Can you see in the video? See how it looks kind of like foggy? So when it turns clear, that's when it's mixed very good. So we're just gonna mix, mix, mix. Make sure you scrape the walls. See how it's looking clear? You can see my finger at the bottom of the cup. And I still have a little bit of, you can see like foggy ribbons. So if you can see that in your mix, that means it's not mixed well enough. So you want to make sure you scrape all the edges until you don't see any like foggy ribbons in your mix. So just keep on mixing. And if you get a few air bubbles in your mix, it's not a big deal. If you have a heat gun or a torch lighter, you can just torch them out, heat blast them, and they'll go away. Okay, looks good now. So I'm just gonna set that here, and let's get our cups ready to put the colors in. Okay, so we're just gonna put about 5 ml on each cup. Okay, and then your leftover epoxy, you're just gonna put it to the side because you're gonna use that as well. Okay, so make sure you give your paints a good shake. And let's start off with 2 drops. See how that looks. Okay, that looks really good. It's really pigmented. So we're just gonna stick with the 2 drops. And I'm gonna sprinkle in some glitter, because who doesn't love glitter? Just a little spritz, a little tap. See how nice and glittery that looks? Okay, so let's do our other colors. And then for my pigments, I'm just going to unscrew the top. And since it's powder, I'm just going to get the tip of my little coffee stirrer, just like this. Oh, can you see that? I just want to get a little scoop with the tip and just put it in there. And a little scoop with this goes a long way. These are very pigmented. And I'm going to put a little bit of glitter on this one as well. And give it a mix. Okay, now that we have all the colors mixed, let's start the cup. Okay, so we're going to start by putting the cup on your turner. So the leftover epoxy that you had, you're just going to rub it on the cup. That way when you pour the colors, it has, you know, like a base to slide on. So let's just put that over. I don't want it way too thick, so I'm just gonna put some back on my cup. And the way to get underneath that lip of that Starbucks cups, what I do is I just run my finger through and it just pushes the epoxy inside. And you just wipe it off. So push and wipe, push and wipe. Okay, I think I pretty much got it all coated. Okay, I'm just gonna put that aside, and we're gonna start off with the red. So we're just gonna pour it on. And see what I mean about putting the epoxy, that first layer before? It helps it spread. If you want, you could just use your little stick and just tuck it under that lip just a little bit, help it go up there. Okay. Next, I'm going to use the purple and I'm going to work my way towards the middle. And it's okay if it drips. It's a lot of epoxy, so it is going to drip. So don't worry about that. And then with the purple, make sure you get it at the bottom too. You can use your glove for this one. And if you want, you can spread it around with your little popsicle stick. Next is orange. Okay, so my phone died while I was pouring the orange, so I switched it to my phone. So the orange is poured. Next, I'm going to do the blue. I feel like my phone has better quality than my camera. I might have to invest in a new camera with better quality. So if your epoxy is getting a little sticky, you can just heat it up with your heat gun. If you have one. Just give it a quick blast just to thin it out a little bit. Just like that. Okay. Next we're doing the blue down here. And with your stick, you could just move it around a little bit. and just help the colors touch a little bit. We're gonna heat this up at the end, so the colors are gonna mix very nicely at the end. So don't panic. Next, we're going to do yellow. Same with this one. It got a little sticky because my camera died, so I had to switch out my stuff. So I'm just gonna hit it with the heat to thin it out a bit. Okay, that's better. And we're just gonna pour that on. Next, we're going to do the green. Same with this one. I'm gonna give it a heat blast to thin it out. Okay, that's better. And we're just gonna pour that on. Okay, so now that we got the colors all on, we're going to give it a heat blast so it can get the colors moving around. Okay, so see how that heat gun got things moving around and kind of meshing the colors together? So that's what we wanted to do, and it's still moving around, so we're just gonna let that sit for a little bit. We're not gonna touch it. I'm gonna give it about 30 minutes, and I'm going to remove the sticker decal. Don't forget to do that, because if you do, it's gonna be stuck on there when the epoxy gets hard. So set a timer. That's what I always do. I put it on my phone. 30 minutes, and we'll take the sticker off and see how much more it blended. So be back in 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes, and see how everything just blended nicely. So now I'm gonna take off the sticker around the logo. The reason I waited about 30 minutes to take off the sticker around the logo was because it was still really runny. So if I would have taken it off right away, the epoxy would have ran into the logo, and I was just trying to keep it clean. So that's the reasoning for that. So let's take it off. I'm just gonna stop really quick. And be careful taking this off, because if it slips like that, you're gonna scratch the logo. So just take it off and let it spin. I'm gonna let it spin about 8 hours, and then we'll come back to it and we'll do the next step, which is another layer of epoxy. And yeah, see you at the next step. So I let the cup spin and dry all night, so it's probably been about 10 hours. So now you can see the colors are nicely blended, it's dry. So next what we're going to do now is put another coat of epoxy. I have about 30 mLs mixed. I probably won't use the whole thing, so we'll just see. I like it to spin the other way. Come on. Okay. And we want it a little bit thicker, that way the epoxy doesn't pull away from the logo. Because if you do it too thin, it's going to pull away. And you're not going to use a full 30 ml. You'll probably need about 20 mLs. That's what I usually do per cup after the first coat. 20 ml. So just going to smooth it over. Make sure to get it a little bit thicker on the logo. And then don't forget about the bottom. Okay, so now that it's nice and evenly coated, you're going to clean the rim. With the baby wipe. Okay, and last you're going to hit it with the heat gun to pop any remaining bubbles. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We're gonna let this spin for about 8 hours, and then we'll come back and take a look, see how it is. If it needs another layer, we'll give it another layer. If not, then we're good to go. So we'll be back. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Here is the finished product. Everything nice and blended, and you can see the glitter too. It's so pretty. So if you guys found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of my content, subscribe, and I'll be back with more.